everybody, this is Tolki for a new Shadowverse video, the third installment of Theory Thursday. Today we'll be talking about card evaluation. As the spoilers of Brigade of the Sky started recently, you will be seeing a lot of new cards online, and being able to evaluate them is a very important skill to have in card games. It will help you build better decks faster and make you a better deck builder by using better cards. And it will also help you in-game. It will help you be a better player, as once you understand the strengths and weaknesses of each card, you will be able to use them more efficiently. Let's start with presenting a very famous card evaluation technique, which is a Quadrant theory. The Quadrant theory is about thinking about the card in the context of games. In Shadowverse, there are many types of games that can be played out, but there still is a certain rhythm to it, and you see the same type of board states and the same type of decisions regularly. So the Quadrant theory is built on 4 quadrants. I will present the first quadrant, but the goal is when you see a card to evaluate them in those 4 quadrants and see how it fares. And the 4 quadrants don't have the same weight, as we will see in a few seconds. So first, we have the developing stages of a game. This is the first few turns, and in Shadowverse, this is until evolution become available. For a card to be good in the developing stages of the game, the most important thing is that it has to be castable into the developing stages of the game. So, if the card costs more than 5 mana, it will score a 0 in the developing stages of the game. While it may sound a bit obvious or stupid, having cards that allow you to get on the board early and interact early with your opponent, for example 1 and 2 mana removal spells, is really important. The second quadrant is parity. This is when both the players are about even on resources and are trying to pull ahead. So when the board is at parity, is this card giving you the chance to pull ahead? The third quadrant is when you're actually ahead. So when you're ahead, does this card help you close out the game? Then you have the most important quadrant here. It's when you're behind. Can this card make you win games where you are behind? This is the most important quadrant because transforming losses into wins is really not to be underestimated. For example, Celia is great because she's good in the developing stage, as she can be played as a 2 mana 2/2. She's good at parity because she can add 3 creatures to the board. She's good when you're ahead because, well, she can be a finisher with Storm and close out the game instantly. And she's okay when you're behind because she puts down 3 bodies, one of which has ward, and therefore gives you time to come back into the game. So, if a card is good in many quadrants and can also be good in the developing quadrant, it will usually be a great card. And if you find a card that is good in all quadrants, the card is likely broken and will be a 3-off in every single decklist of the class. So that was it for Quadrant theory. When you see a new card, ask yourself how good it will be in those different scenarios. Next thing, let's talk about best case scenario mentality. When you see a card, you assume everything is going to go well, but that's not how games work. Usually, things go poorly, you can't choose your card as well as you wanted to, and the scenario you imagine doesn't come to fruition. A good example for that would be Arcus. I've seen a lot of people be hyped about this card. The problem about Arcus is that without any support, it's just a 6/6 for 7 play points. It's not something you would ever consider playing in a Shadowverse deck. When everything goes well, yeah, it might look broken, but the worst case scenario is just too bad. Whereas if you take another 7 mana legendary like Arthur, well, what can go wrong with Arthur? You could have drawn every single 2 mana follower in your deck, but that's very unlikely. When you cast Arthur, you're always going to be able to have 3 or 4 creatures coming with Arthur. This is the worst case for this card, and this worst case scenario is actually great. So this is just to tell you to try and think about the baseline of the cards. Even though some cards require support to work properly, even though some cards are built around cards, you still have to think about the baseline of what you're getting. And also sometimes it's the opposite. You see some cards with an effect that doesn't look that good, but if you think about the baseline, what you're getting in terms of stats, in terms of mana cost, and in terms of board affecting plays, well, you realize they're pretty good. That's the case for Fran. I feel like most people kinda disregarded this card when they saw the spoilers. They were like, it looks okay. And they looked the Necromancy +2/+2 rush and they were like, this is too expensive, I won't be able to use it often. But the worst case scenario for Fran is 3 mana for a 0/1 and a 3/2. That's 3/3 worth of stats, 2 body, 2 shadows. That's really good. That's the baseline for the card. Anything else you get is just gravy. So try and think in terms of baselines, in terms of what you're getting for the cost you're paying, and in terms of what if things don't go that well. And if you go back to Quadrant theory, one of the reasons why Hector was so good is that he's good everywhere outside of the developing stage. At parity, he was great. Ahead, he just closed out the game, and behind, he allowed you to claw back into the game. So this will be it for this Theory Thursday. I hope this helped you think about the right things when you're looking at a new card. And card evaluation is really a very important skill to get better, and you have to work on it and think about it to acquire it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll be seeing you guys tomorrow for another Shadowverse video.